Hi everyone. In this video we're going to be talking about simplifying propositions. So in the last video I introduced you to what propositions were. So we're now able to distinguish between what propositions are and what they're not. But we noticed that propositions can be kind of long, and at certain times they might be kind of confusing. And so it really serves our purposes to be able to simplify them in some form. So let's take a look at some of the sentences we looked at the last video. So at the last video we looked at a proposition like hello is not a statement capable of being true or false. Okay, so this was a proposition that we looked at in the last video, but it's a really long proposition, so how do we simplify that? Well, hello is actually a bit of a more complicated case. This whole proposition is actually a really complicated case, so I'm actually going to skip it for now because it's a bit more complicated than I want to get into right now. So let's take a look at the next one. I went to in and out today. So this is also a proposition. It's a statement which is capable of being true or false. So when we simplify a proposition, we want to give it a letter that symbolizes, that can like represent this whole statement. I went to in and out today. We want to give it a letter that really sticks out. So, I could use, W for went, but, went is kind of a common word, so I really wouldn't want to do that. I could use T for today, but that doesn't really stick out either. I could use the N for in and out. That kind of seems to stick out. It's just right there. But N's also in the middle of in and out. So it's in and out. So I like the letter I, personally. So I'm going to use the letter I for I went to in and out today. Now something I want to emphasize is that in regard to symbolizing a proposition like this, I'm just going to put this next to in and out. So it can be right next to it. So these two are equivalent. This I is representing this. What I was just saying is that there's no right or wrong ways to symbolize a proposition. Any way's the same. I could have picked N instead of I could have picked T, could have picked W. We just want something that will, we should prefer something that will represent it as well as possible. So let's take a look at another proposition. Let's see. I went to the store today. So I went to the store today. So what really sticks out here? Well, we have a lot of the same words that we have in the previous proposition. The only word that's really different here, well, the only words really have that are different are the and the store. So I could use T for the, or I could use S for store. Well, S really seems to be, the S from store really seems to be sticking out for me. So to symbolize this proposition right here, I'm going to be using the word store. And that's how you symbolize a proposition. Now what I want to tell you is that these propositions have all been what we call simple propositions, which means that they're just kind of propositions by themselves. The proper term for them is actually a simplified statement because we just have one letter right here. Later in this course, in fact in a few videos, I'm going to be introducing you into the 5 operators that we use in logic, or at least that we use in symbolic logic. The operators are kind of similar to the ways that we use, let's say, the plus, minus, division, or multiplication sign in arithmetic, which we can also use in logic. So they're just kind of like these little things that help us, manipulate propositions with one another. So the reason I skipped the first statement is because hello is not a statement capable of being true or false. Actually uses one of these operators. The operator it uses is called the negation operator. So I'm going to give it a quick introduction to you right now. The negation operator is symbolized with a special symbol, which I'll show you right now. For right now, let's assume that hello is not a statement capable of being true or false. Let's assume that the not isn't there and it says hello is a statement capable of being true or false. Let's assume that that isn't there. So let's assume we just have hello as a statement capable of being true or false. We completely ignore the not. So let's symbolize it with H, right? Hello is not a statement capable of being true or false. So I'll just symbolize it with H. But like I said, you can symbolize it with anything that'll all be right. But how do we symbolize that not? Well, that not is symbolized with this statement called a negation. And to symbolize the negation, we use this thing called the tilde, which looks like this. And so it's this little squiggly line. And what I want you to know is that this little squiggly line, it goes with the H. So it goes right next to it. I'm just writing it in this separate cell. That might be how I write them in this course. I'm just going to erase this really quickly. But I don't know, if you were doing this on a paper, it would actually look like this. It's literally right next to it. It modifies it so directly. And this negation does something. It does something. It does something special, I guess you could say, to this simplified statement. First of all, with the addition of the negation, it changes from a simplified statement to a complex statement. Because it's not just the simple statement anymore, it's a simple statement with the negation. So another thing is, the negation gives us the opposite truth value. So hello is not a statement capable of being true or false is true. And that's because hello is a statement capable of being true or false is false. So the opposite of false is true. And that's why this statement, so again, this statement, these statements are true, right? This is the true truth value. And I see we have I's and S's and T's right here. So I'm just going to give these T's a little yellow color to differentiate them with truth, that they're truth values. So the reason hello is not a statement capable of being true or false is true as well, right? This is something that's true. But hello is a statement capable of being true or false is not true. And so in that way, we get the opposite, and that's why it's true. So this is just a quick introduction into how to simplify statements. I just introduced you to one of the 5 operators, and in the next videos, I'm going to give you a really good introduction into what the other ones are. I'm going to go into much more depth on what the negation operator is and how it works. And so I'll see you guys in the next video.